Let's create the first API, and the first API for us will be responsible for creating a product. We will use the data that the user enters in these fields: product name, price, and rating, so that when the create button is clicked, a record is made in the database. We will start building our functionality with Node-RED. For this, we will need an HTTP in node, a function node, a MongoDB out node, and an HTTP response node. First, the HTTP in node. It specifies the path and method by which our user will make a request to save the product. We name it create product. The method must be post. We click done. Next, in the function node, we must annotate it so that it's easier for other developers and you to navigate your backend. It's better to annotate each one. We leave everything as is without adding any fields. Next, we connect the MongoDB node and specify the collection name. We change the operation to insert to make a record in the database, and we check the box. We click Done. We also need a response node to get a response that the API has worked. We click Deploy. We can see that the database has connected, everything is fine. And we'll add one more debug to see what exactly we will receive from the UI part to the backend. We will look at the full MSG object. We click Deploy. We'll return to the UI part. Here we need to create an API. We select Create a new API. We name it according to the action it performs. We choose the method analogous to the one we selected on the backend, which is post. Next, we can choose our Node-RED and endpoint like this, but since we saved the link to Node-RED in the env, we'll do it a bit differently. We will use the link to our Node-RED from the env. And we can see that the correct link has already been fetched here. And we need to specify the endpoint name, which is this name. Next, we need to form the body with the data the user will enter in the input fields. So, we need the product name, which we will take from the name widget. And its text value. When you type the widget name, you get a certain list of properties for that widget, from which you can take the value. In our case, I'm interested in the text. Next, we're interested in the price. We set the number type for it. Take the text entered from the input as well. And we need the rating. We refer to the widget and take the value in this case. We can see that here we can take max count, value, or select. That's all we need here. Next, when we click on this button, we need to call the API, so we look for the button widget's event settings and choose to call the API we created on onClick. Execute a query, create product. So let's create the first product. For example, this will be an apple, a 4-star rating, and a price of 5.
We click the Create button, but let's also add an onSuccess action, which will show us a notification that the data has been successfully saved, for example. We choose the onSuccess show message. We will display the text saved and success type. If something goes wrong, we will show a different message, and its type will be error. Oops, try again with the error type. Well, let's try to create the first product. We click the button and see the success notification and our message. We go to the backend and check what we received in our log. So, our debug one shows that I sent name Chapel, price 5, rating 4 from the UI part. That's all that was sent. Since I didn't make any changes to my payload in this node, a similar record was made in the database. That's all for the post operation.